Okay, so daily med for today, my creative word is connect. Something that's really important to connecting to who you are is knowing where you came from. And where I come from is a small community and a small little town and cute little humble roots, and I think it's important to stay in touch with that all my life, even if I ever leave or if I ever go somewhere bigger or different, to always remember that that's part of who I am, and it's never going to go away, which I think is a good thing. It makes me different than most people, I guess. And something that today's med kind of inspires is not worrying about what's conventionally right or correct. And that's not something that's ever really been a big part of who I am. Is I don't worry about what people think I'm supposed to do or what people think is normal or what people think is right or correct. I think that that's a character strength. I don't think that people's opinions really matter that much. Obviously, sometimes if you have someone who's more experienced than you in something, taking their experience into consideration when they're giving you advice is important. But I think there are enough people around this world who just like to spout crap and just spread their garbage. And definition of right is subjective. So the project that I'm working on right now that I'm trying to throw out the right in is for my creative writing class. I have a final project where I have to write a pitch for a film or a mini series or a TV series or a video game plot. Basically the point is you have to write a story and give it context and do all the groundwork into what would be getting it produced, right? And the things that I'm looking at in my story to make it a little bit different is I want it to be entirely narrative. I don't want the characters to have very much dialogue, if any. That's one idea I have. And then I also have the idea of giving a story backwards, because I really love the things that I've seen that have been like that. So those are kind of my two ideas. For example, if you've seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, it kind of works in reverse, where it starts at the conventional end and works forwards to the conventional beginning, and it confuses the viewer in a way that makes them consider the plot and think about it rather than just experiencing it the same way. And I think that that's really cool. So today's daily action is to keep communication between my creative spirit and myself. And I think that in most cases it's hard to fuse the two. It's hard to take your inspiration and your general daily life and your daily thoughts and make them mesh, make them cohesive. But I think that to do that, what you really have to do is take your ideas and personalize them. Too many people like to put their creative work in a bubble, and the reality is that your creative work is just a projection of your views of the world. It's a projection of your experiences and your difficulties and your struggles, and what you learned possibly, and you want to share that with the world. You want to put that out in the world. So you can never really separate the two. The two are very much in sync until you intentionally separate them. And I think too many people are worried about that. Too many people try to take their creativity and their projects and stuff and separate it from their life and themselves, and that's just not how it's done. My creative writing teacher said before you can ever know the world, you have to know yourself. Before you can ever know any character you're writing, you have to know yourself. And that's because everything we put on a piece of paper comes from us, and it's got our little mark on it, our little corruptions, and you have to be okay with those being known by your viewer, by your reader, in order to successfully create something, because otherwise you're holding back, you're keeping bits of yourself for yourself, which is not how art is done. The best art is brutally honest and brutally vulnerable. So in my work, I want to seek to be brutally honest and brutally vulnerable, which is something that not a lot of people can do or find easy. So that's my journey, I guess. That's my calling.